So we've come up with kind of 6 priorities that we feel are relevant to most businesses. So the first one, and critically, is really understand AI. And this isn't understand the technology for the technology's sake, but it's understand how can this technology be applied to my business? How can this technology give me an edge in terms of improving my customer experience, reducing the amount of risk that we have in our businesses? The second one is very much around organizing for AI. So, assigning some accountability within the organization for, how do we apply AI into the use cases that we've identified? How do we build the teams? How do we look across function? Who owns this within the business? And give them the responsibility and then make them accountable for that. And that's not necessarily one person, that's a group of people across different parts of the organization. The next one, and critically, is really around the data. So you've got to locate your data, you have to classify it, and you've got to label it. A core part of AI, or one element of AI, is the concept of machine learning, and that machine learning needs your data labeled so that it actually learn from that data. So that's a critical part. The next piece, and maybe related to that, is really building the skills. So understanding what skills do we need and how do we build them across the organization. And at the lowest level, there's an education piece and an awareness piece so that people can interact with applications that use artificial intelligence within them. And then as you move up that kind of the advanced skills spectrum on this, it's not just at your end point, which is your data engineers and your data scientists, but people in between who are almost your super users, who can really identify the use cases because they understand the technology, but at the same time are not in the bowels of the technology, building, designing, testing, controlling. The fifth point is, and this is quite topical at the moment, it's this concept of responsible AI or ethical AI. And this is really about making sure that anything that you build is transparent and can be controlled. So what do we mean by that? If we're building algorithms or models that are predicting an outcome or providing a particular insight, we need to avoid building bias into those algorithms and those models and having some level of transparency so we can interrogate how did it come up with this particular recommendation. And then finally, there's this concept of convergence. So let's not look at AI as a technology on its own. How does it interact with other technologies? So are we using other data and analytics technologies that we could enhance with some AI capability? Do we have this concept of Internet of Things? Are we using sensor devices that we can, again, build some enhancements around that and incorporate some artificial intelligence into that? So look, they're the 6 priorities in terms of what we would recommend to people. And then needless to say, what sits underneath that is there's an element of bravery required to try some of this stuff on, and there's an element of, you got to take some risks and not be afraid to take some chances, to spend a little bit of money on this stuff in a controlled way. It won't always work out, it won't all work out. Be open to the fact that some of it's going to fail, but just get your sleeves rolled up and get stuck in.